How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting, and welcome back to Riddle Joker, where, frankly, I left last episode depressed. It's funny because, like, one of the things that makes visual novels so great for me is the fact that I get so immersed so heavily in the story. Like, I get so personally invested in these stories and in feeling like I'm like part of the character's storyline myself, either like as the main character or as like a satellite character. It's always very vivid for me. This is how it's for me for reading books and watching movies and TV shows. Like, I just get really heavily immersed, which is part of why I really enjoyed making content, is because I can express my thoughts here that I never could express on my own, and I didn't really have anyone to share with. It's like, this is why I make the channel. But with a big downside to that, I feel really committed in a way, not committed per se, like truly relationship-wise, but I'm committed to the idea of Hazuki and the relationship that she and Satoru have. And so to have this kind of confrontational moment where it comes to light not only that like he's been like deceiving her and working behind her back, which is already such a horrible betrayal of the principles that she upholds so dearly, but also the fact that like we were actively using our connection with her as our girlfriend to manipulate and make our job of like circumventing security easier. So like we took advantage of her trust, and like she gave us 110% of that trust. And now what's going to happen? Regardless of like whether she turns us in or not, it's like, I feel so terrible, like inside me. I feel like I betrayed her, and like I betrayed a close friend of mine. And like, it was very depressing. And so I decided to try and do something as a pick-me-up. Not really so much a pick-me-up, but like something I've been intending to do, especially because I feel like we're getting close to the end of the story. So I went and downloaded the patch. I then went back and redid her storyline. Now, here's the thing. With the patch downloaded, through unintended discovery, I think if you have a save that didn't have the patch applied, it plays as if the patch is still there. So I shouldn't have to edit anything that comes up in the future, although you know, if I do, you'll know. But like, from what I could tell, I had to start a whole new game with the patch on for it to be applied. Like, it doesn't apply it retroactively. It only applies to new saves when it checks for those files. So I went back and I pretty much did the whole thing again, except I saw the content I'd missed. And I'll say this: it's wonderfully done and thorough. I will say, if I did have to like cut it out, I literally would have just had to cut out an entire block. There would have been none of it that could have been a part of things, just because it's not subtle in the slightest. But in the same time, I still think it's really interesting, and it still was well written, and like it makes sense for the characters. It's definitely fantastical, you know, but that's okay. That's like, it's a story. It's fine. But I just want to say that I will talk more about that in depth, and that's fine. One of the downsides is I've also been doing the other routes, because I want to like, essentially, I want to have them not too far behind, because these routes are fairly decent length, and I want to make sure that when I'm getting ready for the rap party that I'll have everything done. But I unfortunately ran into another issue when I was going down the Mayu route, where I feel just as depressed and sad right now because of events that happened in that storyline. And so now I'm just frustrated. So what can you do? Anyway, we're going to jump into this. We're going to see if there's going to be any resolution, or at least the start of resolution here, because like for Hazuki, I'm struggling to find a way in my head that it really makes sense that she would just be able to move forward from this. I mean, how do you recover from a breach of trust for someone who upholds trust and like commitments? So she values it so strongly, right? And we've shattered her mental image of us completely. And despite the fact that she's obviously like willing to like entertain the idea of bending the rules and at least giving us like a chance to like explain ourselves and to make a position, I just don't know if this is something that can be like repaired for Hazuki specifically, because of just the morals that she clings to. And that's the thing, is like Her morals are part of what make her so great. That's part of what makes her so appealing, so makes her so beautiful as a character, right? Like, there are flaws in the very black-white world that she tends to try and look through, but like, it's one thing if she tried to apply that black and white rule set to everybody. It's another if she just simply tries to apply it primarily to herself. And we've also seen that she's willing to make compromises. Like, she's not pure black and white, but like when it comes to like legitimate like rules that are there in place for like protection, she is very staunch there. We also got to see a glimpse of the true like villain, which by the way, we haven't had a confirmation, but I'm pretty sure he took that bully's eyeballs and made them explode, which is horrifying. Like, I have a personal, like, I wouldn't call it a phobia, but kind of a phobia of like sharp injuries or sharp objects near my eyes. If there's something I have that's a recurring nightmare, it's sharp objects near my eyes. It all started from oddly a Star Trek movie where it has a single scene where it shows like a needle being pushed through an eyeball, and I saw that when I was like 8, and it scarred me for life. And so just the idea of that is like so horrifying to me, of like my like eyeballs exploding out of your own head. Like, I think I would rather just die, or even do things like have my fingernails pulled out. Like, that seems like, I'm freaking out just thinking about, okay, we're going to move on. We're moving on. Let's see what happens today. That sounds very cheerful and for good reason. Seriously?
テンション高くてうざいよ、お父さん。
なんだ、前回は超やる気だったのに、今日は二人とも暗いな。何かあったのか?
We've had a bit of a problem here. It's been 2 days since Hazuki caught me red-handed in the faculty room. I fully expected the principal to summon me, but nothing of the sort has happened so far. If I had to speculate, I'd say Hazuki still hasn't reported me to anyone. Nanami is also listening to our conversation at the time, and she agrees that this is the worst possible scenario we could be in. Just tell us about the person you identified.
まあいいだろう。
Even with these things as they are, we can't let the criminal roam free. If I'm gonna have to leave this school, I want to at least finish this before I do.
今回は遅延発動効果を考慮し、犯行時刻の過去3日間に遡って高度映像解析を行った。鷲津市内の映像とお前たちが送ってくれた学院内の映像、これらをパターン分析にかけたところ、容疑者を一人に絞り込めた。
Yeah, that makes sense, because like it's so hard with the delay. Like, it really would be pretty easy to get away with, but when you have so many data points in a city that's so well documented, eventually enough data points will gather where you could eliminate things to being very, very like to a few people or even one. Who is it?
予想通り、誘拐犯は吉華学院の学生だ。容疑者は学院3年生。名前は木戸直樹。性別は男。アストラル能力は気圧操作だ。
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I'm glad I kind of like figured that out, that like it was more likely associated with pressure rather than water. That's an odd ability.
指先ほどの小さな空間だが、気圧を操ることができるらしい。しかも遅延効果を持たせることができる。
Yeah, you can probably stimulate it to be able to build up over time, so he sets it like a bomb. I see. So he caused changes in the air pressure which appeared to onlookers like water explosions.
一連の犯行はすべてこれの応用だろう。
This Keto guy has caused quite a stir. He can create those high-pressure spaces inside water pipes and liquids, so it wasn't readily apparent that it was the water itself causing the explosions. It's interesting, too, because like the way pressure works with water is like the reason why hydraulics work is because it has a transference. Like, okay, so you can only compress it so far, and then it's like once you compress out like once you reach this kind of critical point, like it doesn't compress, it just pushes outward. And so like that's why hydraulics work, is because you can put an immense amount of force on one end of a like so you got two like plungers full of water connected by a strong hose. You can put a lot of force on one side, and it will like as long as you've got that equilibrium established, then the other side will reciprocate almost the exact same amount of force on the other. So that's how cranes and heavy machinery work, is they use these types of hydraulic systems, which is why it's called hydraulics. It could be water-based. I think they have superfluids that are a little better now, and like less like maybe perhaps easier to contain and manipulate than water, but water's still like the foundation of all this, where you can apply force almost lossless with lossless energy across a distance, which is really, really useful. So being able to increase water like pressure in a vessel with water in it would be very effective, just because it wouldn't necessarily change or buckle. It would just kind of critically fail because of the nature of water and water pressure. It's interesting. There's a lot of interesting physics that goes into this. And I'm honestly, it's been long enough that I'm not off the top of my head able to think about the like formula per se, but it's unlike air pressure, like direct air pressure. Water pressure transfers a lot more cleanly than air pressure. Like gaseous pressure typically can be compounded, so you can get more and more and more. In fact, you actually can compress stuff like oxygen so much that it actually homogenizes into a liquid form, because pressure and temperature are the things that can change states. And if you had the means to, you can also take liquids and compress them to the point where they become solids. But that's kind of the problem with water, because water, when it freezes, when it solidifies, it expands. So when as you increase water pressure, that's why it kind of has that initial resistance, because its desire as a molecular structure, as it receives more pressure and wants to solidify, is to expand, not to contract, which is why it tends to maintain that like power and force throughout the entire system. Yeah. Also, the fact that he was able to create those high pressure spaces inside water cups tells me he has a very precise control over his ability. He is extremely familiar with it and can use it to its maximum potential. Those kind of people are the worst criminals.
だが、この容疑者疑問も残る。能力が気圧操作なら、他にもいろいろと応用できたはずなのに、どうして水にこだわったんだ?
Yeah, this is where I hope we can kind of put together that he was trying to put false flags.
自分の能力をカモフラージュするためじゃないかな。
なるほど。その可能性が高いな。
We were completely fooled. Since all the incidents were water related, we assumed the criminal must have been able to control water.
でも、エイムスに頼らないで、よくそこまで能力の詳細が分かったね。
木戸直樹は補導歴がある。
Ah, what was he charged with?
余罪は盛りだくさんだが、主に窃盗だな。
Show me a liar and I'll show you a thief, as it says. Thief is where most criminals start. Theft, not that. All the most infamous criminals started by committing minor misdemeanors. I mean, pretty much, yeah. You don't usually start with the big leagues. It's also really interesting, the trend of like crimes start in locations that are far away from like the personal premise of a criminal, but as they get more confident in their crime, they actually start to like hit places closer and closer to their like where they live, which is really interesting, because like they feel like since they got away with it, they don't have to be as cautious.
警察のデータベースによると、一連の犯行はどうやら父親から強要されたものらしい。彼はそう供述している。だが父親の方は認めず、木戸直樹はアストラル能力を悪用したとして特殊鑑別所への送致が決まった。しかし情状酌量の余地があるとして学院が身元を引き受けた。
So he entered the academy through the same astral protection program as Watarai, which is why they know each other. So he started to dabble in crime again, even after being given a path of redemption. Some never learn, I guess.
それなんだが、調書を見た感じだとかなり雑に処理されたらしくてな。冤罪の可能性があるのに、ろくに調べもせず検察に送っている。
Oh, but so maybe he's taking this route of as a criminal because he feels like he's been branded as such, and thus there's no way for him to like come out from under that shadow, which I would argue in Japanese society would be very accurate. Like, I think like as a culture, they view crime and criminality very harshly. I've heard that one of the biggest problems with people who become convicted criminals in Japan is the fact that it's very difficult to get work. So often the result of getting out of prison in Japan is becoming homeless. Like that's the case everywhere. The United States is definitely not an exemption, but I've heard it's much worse in Japan.
それってひどくない？
もし彼がやってないとすれば、更生なんてするわけがない。逆にグレても仕方ないな。
Yeah. Our father is an extremely kind-hearted person. He took me in back when I was a kid with violent tendencies and nobody wanted to deal with. That's why I can feel some sympathy for Kido. Still, we obviously can't let him continue down this path. So, what do we do about him?
警察が動いてるんだよね。私たちが直接同行する必要はないんじゃない？
それが微妙なところでな。
Right, because of the way he's covered his tracks, it's not going to be very easy to pin it on him.
やっていることはアストラル能力の悪用で許されることじゃない。だが、怪我人は出ていないし、立件しても器物破損か迷惑防止条例違反くらいが関の山だ。
But he did just injure somebody just now.
しかも遅延発動効果は立証が非常に難しい。全面的な自白でもない限り罪に問うことはほぼ不可能だ。
So what? We just let him be?
いや、それではこの悪質ないたずらに歯止めをかけることができない。彼にはお仕置きが必要だ。あとはわかるな、レビー6。
Or you're gonna try and intimidate him? That sounds dangerous. Just give him a stern warning like it did to the guy behind the fake currency?
そういうことだ。
That's not gonna work. I like where this is going. If I can get permission to deal with him directly, I'll be able to let out all my pent-up anger on him. Well, the sooner the better. I'll get working on that tonight.
いいだろう。ただし彼はまだ容疑者だ。できれば自白を取ってほしい。
Understood. I'll try threatening him, see what he does. I want to settle this before I have to leave the academy.
ということで、こちらからは以上だ。そちらから何か報告することは？そういえば、サトルは二条院の娘さんと付き合い始めたんだろう？どうだ？仲良くやっているか？
So the fact he's asking that means we haven't told him that she knows? About that.
お兄ちゃん。
I guess I have to tell him. Things are actually kind of in a bad place.
なんだって？まさかもう別れたのか？
Not quite. It's worse.
そうか。ま、お前は牧年人だからな。何かやらかしても不思議はないな。
She caught me during a mission. He stayed silent for a moment, obviously at a loss for words.
何？それはいつのことだ？
During my infiltration to get the surveillance camera footage 3 days ago.
2日前じゃないか。どうしてデータをこちらに送るときに報告しなかった？
That's a good question, actually. Why didn't he? I'm really sorry.
私も共犯だから、お兄ちゃんだけ怒らないで。
それで、今はどういう状況なんだ？
I expected the principal to summon me shortly after that, judging by what she said, but nothing's happened so far. I think she might have had second thoughts to not have reported me yet.
中継機の回収を放棄したから、あのままなら大騒ぎになると思うんだけど、特に目立った動きがない。多分だけど、二条院先輩が隠蔽したんだと思う。
Which is really out of character for her.
なるほど。恋人の悪事をチクるかどうか、お悩み中ってところか。
Yeah. Honestly, frankly, this needs to be addressed. We have to talk to her. He lets out a huge sigh. What should we do?
ことが公になり、学院側にこちらの関与が知られれば、即撤収だ。今のうちに荷造りをしておいた方がいいだろうな。
Understood.
ただし、撤収するのは学院側に知られたらだ。
What do you mean?
二条院葉月が協力者としてレビー6のコントロール下に入るなら、このまま学院への潜入任務を続行する。
But can we look her in the face again? Can we, honestly sit there, having used her and, betrayed her, and ask her to again, just sideline these feelings and, this broken, shattered trust for the sake of what, love? Maybe. But can that even be, even if that were the case, even if out of all, the feelings of her love, she's willing to break her own, values this severely, won't that break our relationship too? I don't know. I'm sure it's a story and it's gonna have a good ending somehow. But frankly, part of the reason why it's such good writing is I don't understand how this is gonna have a happy ending. The only thing I can think of is perhaps, the work against taking down this Kido might help Nijon-san understand. Let Hazuki understand what we're doing and why it matters. But my gosh, this is why it's so hard. It's like I get so invested in this stuff.
つまり、お兄ちゃんが二条院先輩を説得できれば、ここにいていいってこと？
どうだ、レビー6。できるか？
It'll be highly unlikely. Her seriousness and devotion to justice weren't cultivated overnight. I doubt I'll be able to convince her to look the other way and pretend nothing happened.
懐柔は不可能だと？
I can't, and I wouldn't want to. I love her because of her honesty. Tainting that purity and turning her into a liar just to save my own skin would be wrong. Well, she might understand if I explain the truth to her. Can we tell her about the organization? If I tell her and beg for forgiveness, maybe I'll have a chance.
二条院葉月は警視官の娘だ。警察に情報が流れることは絶対に阻止したい。
Right.
故にできる限り秘匿してほしいが。
Oh!
必要なら話していい。
Really?
ただし、協力を取り付けることができなければ、組織全体に大きな傷が残る。
Yeah, so he's giving permission. He's saying, like, look, if all else fails, tell her. But we have to make sure it doesn't get back to the police. And if you can't convince her of that, you're going to undo a lot of our work. And he's like suffer heavy damages. It could kill the organization as it is. It might have to completely go to ground and restructure. It would be like they might have to burn like all their agents and start from the ground up. Like serious damage. Like it could easily mean that these three no longer can work with the organization.
もし突破のことを話すのなら覚悟を決めろ。どんな手を使っても彼女の心をつかむんだ。
And that's the thing. It's like if it were anyone else, I'd be like, okay, I think we can do this. But like, it's Hazuki. Can she really? Like, she can keep secrets, but would she? Would she want to keep this secret? He really is kind and understanding. Even knowing I put a whole organization in jeopardy, he still forgave me. Might be the wrong thing to do as chief, but as a father, I greatly respect him. Thank you. I'll do everything I can.
お兄ちゃん、私も協力するからね。
では、レビー6、レビー9、木戸直樹への忠告、二条院葉月の説得に取り掛かれ。
Fetch, man.
了解。
I changed into my stealth suit and stretched my limbs. Okay, I'm ready.
気をつけてね、お兄ちゃん。
Didn't I tell you not to come? Like always, not let me climb down to my room using a rope.
だって前回は私のせいで二条院先輩に見つかって大変なことになっちゃったし。
No, it wasn't.
でも私がもっと早く二条院先輩に気づけていればあんなことには。
No, she already knew. She tracked me from my room. It would have been obvious. She'd been apologizing ever since it happened for the same reason. She saw me come out of my room. No matter what I did, she would have caught me sooner or later. You don't need to keep blaming yourself.
それでも今日は見送る。
Alright. She takes my hand and mutters what seems to be a little prayer.
どうかお兄ちゃんが何事もなく無事に帰ってきますように。
With your backup, nothing could possibly go wrong.
今度は絶対にお兄ちゃんを守ってみせるから。
Thanks. I'm counting on you.
それじゃあいってらっしゃい。
I activate the camouflage and sneak into the room of my target, Kido Naoki. It's past lights out time, so the room is dark. Sleeping like a baby. I slowly approach the bed and pull the blankets away. Rise and shine, pal. I have a few questions for you. I kick him out of bed and pin him to the floor.
なんだ何が起こってるんだ
As he tries to get up, I put his arm in a lock and press my weight down on it.
痛い腕が折れる
Oh, don't worry. It'll take a lot more to break, though maybe I will if you don't answer my questions.
なんなんだお前は
I'm the hero of the night. I'm here to punish a naughty kid who's too old to be playing pranks.
何を言って。
He leans and tries to peer into my eyes, the fear apparent in his face. He's also trying to blow your eyes out!
誰もいない。お前、どこにいるんだ。
There are some people who don't quite like what you've been using your ability to do. If you refuse to cooperate right here and now, you might not live to see another day.
上ってなんだ。お前らは一体誰なんだよ。
I'm the one asking the questions here. I punched the floor next to his face. This should scare him enough not to pull another one of those pranks ever again. But before I leave, I have to get a confession Dad asked for. Answer me. A while back, there was an incident where glass cups inside an Italian restaurant at the mall shattered. Was that your doing? Then there were destroyed sprinklers in the fashion store, the cups in the movie theater, water pipes in the subway. And finally, the fire extinguisher here at the academy. Those were all done by you, weren't they? You manipulate the air pressure with your ability, don't you?
そんなことは知らない。
We're also aware you used a delay effect ability, you fake an alibi. All the surveillance camera footage points to you being the culprit. And we have evidence. Give it up. You're the one who instigated all these incidents, weren't you? I put more weight on Kito's arm to make him talk.
お前、警察の連中だな。ふざけやがって。
I said I'm the one asking the... Boom! Ah! All of a sudden I see a bright spark, and the next thing I know, my vision's gone. It only takes a second for the excruciating pain to hit my nerves.
お兄ちゃん、今悲鳴が聞こえたけど大丈夫？
This son of a bee just created a high-pressure explosion in front of my eyes?
この手を。
Ugh. While I'm stunned from the pain, he pushes me away and stands up. Then I hear him run away.
お兄ちゃん、応答して。
Levy 6 here. He fought back and now I'm blinded.
大丈夫？そっちに行こうか。
Okay. Phew. Alright, so it just was more of a flashbang thing. I thought he made our eyeballs explode. No, stay there. I can't say I'm fine, but at least my vision's back. This is Levy 6. Target has escaped from the room. Levy 9, track his movements with the cameras.
了解。けど、お兄ちゃんはどうするの？
I'll go catch his butt. I get him, rush to the door. I head out the hallway, but he's nowhere to be seen. Damn, where'd he go?
お兄ちゃん、ここは一度撤退した方がいいんじゃ。
If I retreat, he'll think he's invincible and do more daring stuff. After that, it'll be difficult to teach him a lesson. The only way to make him report is to beat it thoroughly into him.
でも、このままだとターゲットとお兄ちゃんの追いかけっこが監視カメラに映っちゃうよ。
That would be bad. Cut off all the cameras connected to the security room. Jam them all.
そんなことしたら痕跡が残るけど。
Just do it, Levy 9.
わかった。どうなっても知らないからね。
Where'd it go, Levy 9?
学院の方に向かってるよ。警備室、てんやわんやになってるよ。これ絶対あかんやつだ。
She must be watching the scene going on there. Just make it look like a group of hackers is attacking the servers or something.
そりゃできるけどさ、簡単に言ってくれるよね。
I'm at the front of the academy. Where's Kito?
これは多分プールの方に向かってると思う。
Why would he go there? I enter the pool room, and sure enough, there he is. Alright, I found him. Don't communicate with me from this point forward.
了解。気をつけてね。
I know.
お前は誰だ。何が目的で僕を狙っているんだ。
He immediately raises his voice once he says that the door has been opened. Thanks to my camouflage, though, he can't see me. He can only search around aimlessly. Man, that was mean of what you did back there. Now I'm gonna have to hurt you. I wanted to make this as painless as possible, but it won't be so easy now that he struck back at me. My only option is to roughen him up so he can't, and some until he can no longer move.
いきなり寝込みを襲ってきて何なんだよ。そんなに僕が憎いのか。
Well, think back on all the things you've done that might find, and you might find the answer looking for you. The answer you're looking for. Why do you keep causing trouble around Washizu City?
それはお前には関係ない。
Would I be here if it wasn't? I slowly circle the poolside, getting closer and closer to him. This all started when you made a bathroom sink faucet explode in Nijo and Hazuki's face. Why did you do that? Do you harbor some resentment toward her?
あるさ。あの女には憎んでも憎み足りないくらいの恨みがね。
Oh, do you now? Why don't you tell me about it?
僕の親父はクソ野郎でね。僕にアストラル能力があると分かると うまく利用することを考え始めた。その利用手段ってのがひどいもので、盗みや強盗だった。
So yeah, that is the case.
実の息子に犯罪の片棒を担がせたんだよ。
Yeah, sometimes parents are real dirtbags. It sucks. He does sound like an irredeemable piece of crap.
僕は親父に殴られるのが嫌で黙って従うしかなかった。でも長くは続かなかったよ。親父はずさんな男でね、1年もしないうちに捕まった。ところが親父にはアストラル能力がない。じゃあ誰がアストラル能力を使ったんだということで僕も一緒に捕まった。僕は何度も警察に親父に脅されたと言った。なのに僕の言い分を聞かないで共謀犯ってことにされた。
It's interesting because, like, if he weren't this is actually a clear case of discrimination, because if you weren't an Astral and a kid had been committing crimes, but the kid was under threat, like, was claiming to have been under threat by somebody who had authority, power, and like and the capability of exercising that power, like to abuse and control, that would have been looked into very heavily, and the doubt would have been cast on the father, who's the adult in the situation. You know, like, there's more responsibility inherent to an adult figure, like when crime is involved. Like, it's one thing if it were like a kid just getting into mischief, you know, like stealing candy bars or like running out of a store with like, you know, like a toy in their pocket or something, right? But these are probably major crimes, and like breaking into people's houses, robbing people, like attacking them, like some pretty serious stuff most kids don't do. And so, like, if it were a normal like adult child relationship, like the parent would have been the one who would be most like looked at. But because of the astral presence of these attacks and the fact that the astral abilities were from the kid, they did throw him under the bus because it's easier just to pin it all to him. Like, it's a lot easier to get that conviction in court, and you don't have to cross as many T's, dot as many I's. But it's really wrong because, like, if you take the astral ability away, like, it's pretty horrific, really, that the justice system would allow that.
奴らは僕が能力者だというだけでろくに話を聞かなかった。あとは警察お得意の作文さ。僕が子供だったのをいいことに調書をでっち上げた。
So it sounds like they even tried him as an adult, even though he was a child. Well, kinda. He did go to a juvenile center, but like it still sounds like he was given a pretty harsh sentence. Here's another thing, though. I was just thinking about. I think he might be here at the pool because he knows we have the camouflage. Water is something that he can manipulate, and I'm guessing he's gonna try and like splash the water and use it to track where he is. Like, that's what I'm thinking. That's why he came here, because he's gonna try and like track down where Satoru is.
警察っていうのはそういうクソの上にクソを重ねた声だめみたいなところなんだよ。
So Dad was right on the money. Even though they were false accusations, they branded him an accomplice and locked him up. That explains his deep-rooted hatred for the police. Well, police officers come in all colors. Some are crap bags that don't do their jobs properly. Some are the good people who want to help others. You got dealt a bad hand in life, sure. But what does Nijo and Hazuki have to do with that?
あの女は警察官の娘であることを傘に来て他の学生に上から目線であれこれ言ってくる。あいつは何様だ。警察官の娘はそんなに偉いのか。彼女から見たら僕や渡来はクソ野郎だろう。でもね、だからって同じ学院の学生に見下される言われはないんだよ。あの二条院葉月の態度、あれこそが警察官と同じ権力を持った人間の腐った傲慢さの象徴だ。
But she's also an astral. She can also understand. Well, that's that. He hates the police with every fiber of his being, and by extension Hazuki, since she's the daughter of a police officer. So that's why you hate her?
ああ、そうだよ。水を操作する能力に見せかけたのもあの女に疑いが行くようにするためだ。
Oh, are we recording this? I hope so. There was a point in time where I considered her, so he wasn't far from his goal. He's pretty smart, I'll give him that. So, you gotten that anger out of your system now?
冗談言うな。あの女をこの学院から放逐するまで 僕の恨みが晴れることなんてない。
So the Academy was gracious enough to admit you despite your record, and you want to take out your rage on a young girl. If what you did becomes public, the Academy won't be too happy either.
知ったことか。警察官の娘を信用して寮長にした時点でこの学院も同罪だ。何が能力者保護プログラムだよ。そんなもの対外的にアピールするための材料でしかないくせに。
He's probably right.
僕も渡来も所詮は学院の客寄せパンダなんだよ。
He looks inoffensive and serious, but I see he's a pretty smart guy. Although he's applying that bright mind towards the wrong place. Man, you're one self-righteous son of a bee. Is that all you have to say?
なんだお前が聞いてきたんだろ。なのになんだその傲慢な態度は。お前も警察と同じ。二条院葉月と同じだ。人を見下して。
Well, I am better than you. You're the one who put yourself in the position you're in now. Don't blame me for that.
なんだと。
Sure, you may have been admitted to this academy as a public stunt to entice donors to give money. But even if that's true, so what? Return the favor, use the school to your benefit, take advantage of them to find happiness in life. Yet all you've been doing is skulking around the shadows, trying to mess with people because you're mad. Grow up, why don't you?
黙れ。
Your life sucks because you want to remain a poor little victim. Don't hold grudges against the people that decide to live productive lives just because you're jealous.
黙れよ。お前に何がわかる。
Maybe I was with you once.
能力者保護プログラムで入ってきた人間がどういう目で見られているか。お前は何も知らないだろう。陰で噂をされて人が近寄ってこない。教師からも色眼鏡で見られるんだぞ。お前に僕の辛さなどわかるはずがない。
All of us are living in the academy because of our abilities. It's a terrible thing to eye our fellow Astrals with prejudice because they've had a bad life. I understand why Kido feels alienated, but still, his actions are wrong. Good. I wouldn't want to sympathize with you. If I were in your shoes, I would have never stooped so low as to try and ruin an innocent person's life, no matter how much I suffered. You crossed the line, and that can't be excused.
うるさい。どこの誰かもわからないお前に断罪される言われはない。
Fine. Guess talking won't get us anywhere. I project outwards in the most menacing tone I can muster.
ここで僕に何かすれば全て監視カメラに残るぞ。それにもうすぐ監視カメラを見た警備員がここへやってくるはずだ。そうなればお前も手が出せない。
If you're waiting for the guards, I'm afraid you'll be waiting forever. They're too busy trying to get the criminals running at all. They won't be coming to your rescue.
なんだって。
He's obviously shaken up. I guess he came here because he thought the cameras would help him.
お前カメラを操作するなんて本当に何者なんだ。
I'm not answering any more questions. He's no idiot. He's probably trying to figure out my position from the direction my voice is coming from. The poolside about 15 meters to end, and Kido's standing right in the middle. I'm 25 meters away from him in a straight line. If I run, I can cross the distance in seconds. Huh! After converting 15 meters, I felt something really off around my ears. Fetch! Gah!
かかったな。
I knew it! Numerous exploding sounds ring inside my ears. I gradually lose my balance. Looks like I fell for his high-pressure bombs again. Crap, must have seen through my optical camouflage once I got closer. The impact from the compressed air breaks my communication device and blows it out of my ear. And I'm brought down to my knees after the blow of my head. Did he just concuss me with air pressure?
僕の能力は効果範囲が狭いんだ。四方八方から来られると対応できないんだよ。その点、プールサイドは狭いからね。近づいてくる方向を限定できる。
Go fetch! He actually considered that when choosing where to run. This guy's really smart. Ugh. A second later, my camouflage wears off. Perhaps the impact messed with my suit.
君はまさか渡来を倒した。そうか。二条院葉月の彼氏だな。散々偉そうなことを言って。要は彼女にちょっかいを出されてムカついて制裁を加えに来たってところか。名前は確か有原悟だったね。正体が分かってみればしようのない理由だ。笑わせてくれる。
Well, we were gonna leave the academy most likely anyway. Let's just finish this. I really didn't imagine he'd recognize me. At this point, I can't exactly expect to deter him from committing further crime through intimidation. I lost. But thankfully enough, I got the confession out of him. Nanami should have the recording of the conversation we just had now. With that, I can at least call the mission a success. I know I should withdraw, but I just can't. Yeah, that's right. I'm here because you were messing with my girl. He's under the mistaken assumption I came here to avenge her. So be it then. I'll let him think that. If I withdraw here, I won't be able to take this chip off my shoulder. I'll punish him just like he thinks I want to. You don't know a darn thing about her. You don't know how much she's stressed about things. She's always thinking about how she can make the world a better place to help others. To her, other people's problems are her problems. I don't know a person more humble and honest than her. Did you even try to understand her before pulling all this?
あんな女のことは知らないね。だったら聞くけど、あの女は僕のことを知ろうとしたことがあるのかい?
If you opened up to her, I guarantee she'd try to help you. That's how she is.
ふざけるな。信じられるか、そんなこと。
I'm speaking the truth. You don't trust anyone around you. No one will help you when you can't trust them. You'll remain miserable and unhappy as long as you keep hiding and trying to throw stones at those trying to better their lives. Honestly, it's about time you grow up.
何を知った風に。
What are you even getting out of these dumb pranks? Where the heck do you think you're gonna end up after all this is said and done? I know you're smart. Stop wasting your life and do all this petty crap.
うるさい。うるさい。お前が何を言おうと、お前ごときに僕は止められないんだ。
We'll see about that, pal. I use my ability to accelerate as fast as I can to stop him, but as soon as I move... I eat a direct blast against my right eye and ear, and the pain paralyzes me.
口ほどにもないね。
Okay. I know Satoru can enhance his abilities. Can he suppress them? It's really risky, but if he can, like, temporarily, like, cut off his own vision and hearing when the bombs go off and then reignite them, he actually probably could get through this without being dazed.
僕の能力はコップを割る程度の力しかない。それでも人間相手ならかなり強力だよ。目や耳を狙えばどんな人間でも倒すことができるんだから。
The only thing I can interfere from his attacks is the extent of his range is 10 meters. Get any closer than that, he can do whatever he wants to you. The pain is making my head feel like it's splitting. Maybe I shouldn't have tried to use my ability.
君は随分と二条院葉月のことを高く評価しているね。彼氏なんだから当然だろうけどさ。
Best case scenario, the water lines that were set up, and the only person who recognizes that something is going on is Hazuki, and she walks in here, and she can take him down. Hate to disappoint you, pal, but we might not be a thing anymore. I gritted my teeth and managed to get up despite the pain. Can't stand straight, my view's warping. Did he get my inner ear with his attack? I mean, that's a good place to go.
別れた女に肩入れしているのかい？それは泣かせる話だね。
Shut up. My blood's boiling, my pain's making my head throb. None of this would have happened if Kido hadn't decided to meddle in our lives over this stupid grudge. Hazuki wouldn't have found me out, our relationship wouldn't have been ruined. It's all this mother effer's fault! My mind's a maelstrom of emotion right now. Anger, regret, sadness. The mission doesn't matter anymore. We'll settle this right here and now, Kido.
ふらふらしてまともに歩けないくせによく吠えるね。君は僕には近づけないよ。
We'll see about that.
いいけど気絶したままプールに落ちないでくれよ。僕は助けないからね。
Bring it on! What happens to me doesn't matter. I'm not about to walk away and let this smug little butthole win. I funnel all my power into my muscles and get ready to run. But then...
一つ人の世を骨までしゃぶり
Wait, who's that? All of a sudden, a voice echoes across the spacious room. What?
二つ横島な悪行三昧
It sounds familiar.
三
Oh my gosh, it is her!
醜い浮世のけだものを退治してくれよ二条院葉月
I like how she's got her own, like, battle cry. Oh, that's awesome! That Hazuki is no doubt about it.
二条院。
そうだ私が二条院葉月だ
What are you doing here?
話をしに来た
What? Both Kido and I are bewildered by her sudden appearance. Her whole performance is just so goofy, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, what was that all about?
あれか？あれはな、金太郎侍がクライマックスの登場シーンで使うんだ。
I love her! She's amazing!
で、もしかして外していたか？
It was pretty good. I'm speechless. Well, I guess it helped me cool my head off. How did you know we were here?
ななみくんが慌てて寮から走っていくのが見えたから、追いかけて話を聞いたんだ。
When the suit blew, she freaked out. I glanced at the entrance, seeing Nanami apologetically holding her hands together and bowing. She's probably got worried after the communication cut off and tried to rush over, which is when Hazuki saw her.
道中でななみくんから大方の話は聞いた。消火器の件も含め、鷲津市内のいたずらは、木戸直樹、全部君の仕業だと。この話に相違はないか？
はっ、だったらどうだって言うんだ。
ダメじゃないか、そんなことしたら。
The reaction stuns both of us. Wasn't expecting her to respond so assertively.
アストラル能力で人に迷惑をかけるなんて、絶対にやってはいけないことだぞ。明日にでも先生に話して、迷惑をかけたお店や人に謝罪に行く。一人では言い出しにくいのなら、私も同行する。君さえ良ければ私も一緒に謝りに行こう。
Dang. Wow. What a girl.
もういたずらなんてやめるんだ。
嫌だと言ったら。
どうしてだ？なぜそこまでいたずらをしたがるんだ？
お前がムカつくからだよ。二条院葉月。何が一緒に謝りに行こうだよ。いい子ぶってるんじゃねえよ。
Hazuki's clearly hurt by Kito's aggressive tone. She really means that, Kito.
はあ？何言ってるんだよ。こんな人を小馬鹿にしたような話。素で言ってたらただの間抜けだぞ。
You shut your pie hole. Yeah, she is stupid.
おいサトル、それはひどくないか？
But that's just who she is, and it's precisely what makes her so lovable.
かわいいって、間抜けはかわいいのか？
She starts fidgeting around.
どうだっていい。どのみちお前たちに僕をどうこうすることなんてできない。
それはいたずらをやめないということか？
もちろんだ。今度はもっと周到に仕掛けてやる。誰にも僕は止められやしない。
Kito, you're making a mistake here. You're in her realm now. We're in the pool. You don't realize if she decides to full unleash, I don't know if we've ever seen her truly unleash before, and I think she might actually give us a display if he doesn't stop. If you keep this up, you'll be getting a friendly visit from the police before long.
いや無理だね。現行法では僕を捕まえることなんてできないさ。
So he actually picked up on how hard it'd be to convict him. He's really smarter than any of us imagined.
どうしても分かり合うことはできないのか？
ああ、できないね。
They both glare at each other, each one on their side of the pool.
そうか。それなら仕方がない。
どうするつもりだい？
Pool!
膝を詰めて話し合い、互いに意見を出し合って、納得して、それで解決するのが一番だ。でもどうしても無理なら、頑張っても手を尽くしても分かり合えないなら、最後は、己の正義を貫くより他はない。
Oh boy! She extends one hand toward the pool. And then, the ground trembles and the pool's water starts rippling. Oh! Yes! Look at that! Woo!
木戸直樹、君は警察官の怠慢で、身に覚えのない罪を背負わされたと聞いた。警察官の中にも、怠惰で傲慢な人間はいる。そういう輩が君を苦しめたことは本当に申し訳ないと思う。
Holy crap!
君の怒りは正当なものだ。君が望むのなら、私がそのそしりを受け止めよう。すべてを私にぶちまけたらいい。
Glowing waves are drawn to the center of the pool. The water gathers, forming a huge mass.
だが、その怒りを無関係な人間にぶつけるのはやめろ。それは明らかに間違った行為だ。彼らが君に何をした？君がやっていることはただの八つ当たりじゃないか。
待て、お前は何
Yeah,
をするつもりだ？
Kito, you better freaking run! The huge mass of water floats to the center of the pool. If I had to guess, I'd say the diameter is over 10 meters. The water level of the pool dropped at least half its capacity. Holy crap! Remember, 10 meters, Americans, it's like a 30-foot diameter. So this is a sphere of water, 30 feet wide.
君の思いに正義はあれど、君の行いには一片の正義もない。反省して二度とやらないと誓うならよし。そうでなければ、天に代わって私がここで裁きの鉄槌を下す。
You better be on your knees, boy.
ふざけるな。誰が反省なんてするか。
He still talks defiantly, but he's visibly shaking. Makes sense. I doubt he could do anything about that huge water mass with his air pressure abilities.
ならば致し方ない。
Oh my gosh.
木戸直樹、その身に染みついた悪行の数々、この水で洗い流すがいい。
Oh.
ちょっと待っ。
Oh my gosh. Oh, that would hurt.
成敗。
She launches the veritable water bomb, and it swallows Kido as soon as it tries to escape. The following wave of water upon the impact of the floor almost washes me and Hazuki away. It ends up turning the inside of the room into a mess, so we had a bit of cleaning up to do. Holy crap. Do you feel better now?
ああ、なんとかな。
Fetch. I should stop here. I'm not stopping! After being hit, Kido Naokai was left floating in the pool. We rescued him, and the guard came along and took him. Hazuki explained the situation, and they believed her without question. Nanami went back to her room. Now we're the only ones here. My clothes are all wet, though.
申し訳ない。申し訳ない。
Oh, we both got caught in the aftermath of her attack.
いかんな。頭に血が上って、ついやりすぎてしまった。
It was freaking impressive, though. You think so? I feel pretty fresh now. Seeing Kido's face contorted in abject fears, he realized there was no way out was truly something. Hazuki really did clean away all the anger that I felt toward him. That little entrance speech of yours was great. Feels like it was made just for you.
あれは、二人の争いを何とかしないといけないって思ったら、自然と口から出てきただけで。
Well, when you have power to back it up, it's pretty good.
でも今考えると、なんて恥ずかしいことを私は。
Because you're Hazuki. I might start calling you female Kintaro from now on.
嫌だ。そんな恥ずかしい二つ名はごめん被る。
She's back to her usual self. I'm so glad. So, why did you even come here at all? I already know she heard we were here from Nanami, but she didn't have to come here.
すまなかった、サトル。まずは謝らせてくれ。
No, you don't! Stop sacrificing yourself! What for?
私は自分で決めた大事なことを忘れて、サトルに心ないことを言ってしまった。
What words?
君の恋人になるとき、私は誓った。私のすべてを君に託す。この身が果てるときまで君に尽くすと。
Hazuki, I'm very happy, but why? We betrayed you! We used you! You should be so upset! But I lied to you, I used you, you have every reason to be upset with me.
いや、それは違う。たとえ君が私を測ったとしても、私は最後まで君を信じ続けなければならなかった。
Why does this hurt more than her being bad? Just be bad!
それが人に身を尽くすということだ。なのに、私は自分の矜持に固執して、道を誤ってしまった。申し訳ない。サトル、私を許してくれ。
She bows her head. How good-natured can a person be? The extent of her kindness never ceases to amaze. Please don't. I'm the one who should apologize. I am sorry I lied to you. I'm sorry I couldn't say the truth.
いやいや、悪いのは私だ。
No, you stop that! No, it's me! We stared at each other's eyes and burst out into laughter.
何をやっているんだろうな。
I'd
私たちは。
argue you're the sillier one. We really are. I'm sorry though. I couldn't go public about what I was doing.
その辺はナナミくんから聞いたよ。それでなんとなく事情を察した。
What did she tell you? I know Nanami's aware of just how important it is for us to keep our identities secret, but I just want to make sure.
サトルもナナミくんも、とある組織に所属していて、様々な任を負う存在だということは聞いた。
Okay, yeah. So we're in the red zone. Okay.
今回は木戸直樹がターゲットで研究室からデータを盗んだのも犯人だと特定するためだと言っていたな。
That's true. Yeah, that's the gist of it.
つまり君たちは闇に紛れて悪を打つ現代版の隠密同心だったというわけだな。
Yeah, actually.
すごくかっこいいじゃないか。
She's freaking best girl. How can you say otherwise? I guess you could say that. I should have expected a reaction like that, to be honest.
本当は分かっていたんだ。君がただの悪党であるはずがないと。なのに私は君を信じきれなかった。
No, you were right. What I committed was a crime. I broke the rules and lied to you. Would you still trust me in spite of that? She breaks into a smile.
小さい頃私は時代劇で悪いことをした人間を許して逃がすという展開が理解できなかった。
Interesting.
お父様はそれが人情だと言ったが、どうにも納得がいかなかったんだ。
Aww.
でも今はよくわかる。罪は罪、規則は規則だ。勝手に曲げては法が立ち行かない。だが、規則を守らせる側もまた人間なんだ。間違えることもあれば、過ちを犯すこともある。
Interesting. Right. Kido was a victim of the folly of human nature.
正義を貫く人間が不完全なのだとしたら、悪いことをする人間もまた不完全だ。
Oh, that's deep. Look at that. If a just man can be imperfect, I'm paraphrasing. If a just man can be imperfect, that means that those who do wrong are just as imperfect. They're not perfect criminals. So you can't define them by their crime alone because they're not perfect criminals. So that, like, it's so interesting. It's like crime is crime and rules are rules, but people aren't so rigid. We're a conglomeration. And so you can't judge the actions of one or the other in their purity because it's not right to justify and say people are always going to be categorically one or the other, whether it be a good person or bad.
そんな不完全な存在である人間同士、ただ杓子定規に断罪することが正義とは思えなくなった。
Wow. She's like the encapsulation of what pure, like a real good understanding of what laws mean and enforcement means. Like, she stands for justice, but like she also can understand that justice itself is not perfect because people aren't perfect. If it were perfect, then it wouldn't be a problem. The problem is the fact that we can't help it. We're just people. Fetch. I didn't think I was going to talk about, we're going to be having such a philosophy. I'm getting chills. The philosophy here is actually really, really profound.
では、何が人を裁くのか。
Yeah. Who is fit to judge man? Human nature.
そう。最後はやはり人の世の情けだ。
Compassion. The ability to overlook and to move forward and accept that if people are changeable, then that means that evil doesn't always have to be evil. And that's we can have faith that people can be good and doing good even if they break the rules.
君がやったことは法に触れる。良くないことだ。それは間違いない。だけどおかげで、木戸の悪事が暴かれ、彼が更生するきっかけになるなら、それはいいことだ。
God, it's complicated though.
古来より、尺を曲げて陣を直ぶという。私は悟を信じる。君は悪意を持って、その力を使うことはないと。
It's kind of like how we have a revering of people like Batman, even though it's fictional. It's like this idea that, like, Batman absolutely breaks the rules. Like, he absolutely, completely disregards the law. But a lot of us tolerate and accept him as a character and as a concept because there is measurable good that he does. And so, whilst it's vigilantism, it's like Gordon. Who's the Commissioner Gordon? Like, he knows vigilantism is wrong, and it's like it's something they even tackle. Like, I think in the comics, but in like the Dark Knight movie, talking about how like run-of-the-mill vigilantism is wrong and should be like discouraged heavily. But the right people in the right places sometimes are necessary, and he's willing to compromise sometimes. because they can recognize the greater good that can be done outside of the system, which is like, you should never, it's like, it's funny because like there shouldn't be an excuse, and a pure like lawful type of individual would say there's never an exception, but sometimes I think that there is. Hazuki.
しかし、一時とはいえ、私は君を疑ってしまった。こんな不甲斐ない恋人では、サトルから愛想をつかされても仕方がないな。
How freaking wrong you are! She casts her gaze at the ground solemnly. So I gently put my hand on her chin and raise her face. Do you still love me?
当然だ。私にはサトルしかいない。サトルしか見えない。私の恋人はサトルじゃなきゃダメだ。
We don't deserve you. I love you too, Hazuki. I love your honesty. Your yearning for justice is the most precious thing ever. That's why I agonized so much when you confessed to me. I knew that if I dated you, I'd have to keep secrets from you, which led me to believe I had no right to be with you.
そうか。だから考える時間が欲しいと言ったのか。
I wanted to be as honest as you were being with me.
どうしてだ？
Because I loved you. Of course, I came to love you so much, much more after today.
もっと？なぜだ？
You forgave my dishonesty. And even after learning who I truly am, you still loved me. You're the only girl for me, Hazuki. I don't want anyone but you.
サトル。
Our faces slowly come together as we lock lips. Get ready for that ASMR. It is really sweet, though.
サトル。サトル。
I'm so...
ごめんなさい。私を許して。
I feel like we should go. What are you talking about? I'm the one who hurt you. We embrace passionately and make out as if to make up for all the time we spent apart. The whole 2 days. I know. I'll always keep my arms around you. We gaze into each other's eyes as we mix our saliva. Saliva is such a word. It doesn't sound very passionate, does it? Like, the sounds do. I'm talking about the word saliva. It's just one of those words just like, I love you. Just seeing that begging look on her face is causing my heart to beat like crazy. I can't keep this heat in check.
サトルのすごく硬くなっているぞ。
YouTube! I can't help it. It's been so long since I last got to be with you. A whole 2 days!
そうだな。私もサトルに会いたかった。会って、抱きしめ合って、いろいろしたかったぞ。
See if the patch is here. Oh, in the mood for what?
それは。言わせるな恥ずかしい。
Oh, so cute, pout face. She sways her hips and turns away from me. Don't worry, I want to have sex too. I place my hands on her thigh and slowly move between her legs.
待った。私から提案がある。
Okay.
今回、私はサトルに申し訳ないことをしたと思っている。だから、お詫びがしたいんだ。
No, you didn't. But I'm listening. It's fine. I mean, I feel like I did worse to you.
まあ、そう言わずに、ここは私に任せてくれないか？
What is she trying to do? Sure, but what are you gonna do to me?
それは後でのお楽しみだ。
I'm kind of terrified of that. She then begins unbuttoning her shirt. Oh boy.
Riddle Joker.
I have to do some research.
待たせたな、サトル。
Now, I think this is probably going to be the finale, but I think we'll just go ahead and save that for next week. I know it'll probably be really short, but like, I'm guessing next part will be the end, because I feel like that was the grand, for lack of a better word, climax of the story. Like, I just don't know what else is going to happen other than like a kind of a wrap up. So we'll do the wrap up next week, and like, if I'm right, and then it's wrap party time, and that's really sad. Because this has been a wonderful series. I've been so happy to be able to play this game, and Like, I do kind of wish, like, we didn't have to worry. But again, even if I could somehow share, like, get away with sharing the full content of this game, it's frankly not something I think I would, just because, yeah, it's very, 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 anatomical. We'll say that. And my channel's always about the story, but just understand, like, if you get this game and you're not averse to H scenes at all, like, get the patch. It's free. You have to download it off-site because, like, so Steam's been cracking down on patches that are, like, linked in Steam itself, so you have to go to the official site. But that's not too hard. And you get there and you can find the patch and get it pretty easily. So if you haven't done that and it's not something that would cause you or your family concerns, for whatever reason, I recommend it, just because it's well done. It's one of those things where it's like, it's tactful, it's tasteful, I would say, and contextual. It's very, very adult, but that's the thing, is like, I don't think personally there's anything wrong with, like, talking about sexuality, especially because, like, in real relationships, like, you have to have those things. And, like, I feel like, in a way, it's one of the more down-to-earth approaches to H scenes, which is odd to say, but, like, it really is weird to say, but, like, I feel like it was done in a way that's very true to life and respectful, you know? I feel like sometimes people, when they make H scenes, can make it go, like, really over the top. And in some ways it is. I mean, it's very picturesque and perfect, you could say. You know, it's idealistic. But at the same time, there's a level of it that I do find very refreshingly vanilla and very, like, reasonable. So, yeah, I vouch for it. I vouch for it. If that's a thing you care about. I don't know what I'm talking about for so long. But so far, I think the culmination of that was really good. I actually kind of like that Hazuki wasn't, like, tracing us through the water lines, but it was that she happened to see Nanami in trouble, and that her first instinct was to try and help. I'm grateful. It's kind of nice that Nanami was able to kind of give the gist of the situation rather than us, because it helped kind of, like, solidify that we were, like, telling the truth. That the situation was real, that it wasn't just us making up excuses. While Hazuki is, like, too perfect for this world, I do feel like I can appreciate and believe that she could be a real individual. That she's not, like, a she's not tropey, you know? Like, that's the thing. It's like, and that's something I'm going to talk about in the rap party with my routes going down the Ayase route and the Meiyu route so far. Like, there's not, it's like you have an initial, like, kind of impression of tropiness it comes across, but, like any good story, there's a large depth of character there. There's a lot more to them than the tropes, which is really what I think a lot of anime and some visual novels miss up. Is like, we enjoy these tropes, but we only enjoy them on surface level. To make in-depth characters, there has to be a lot more, including a reason or like a tendency to have more complexity to a character than simply, like, the tsundere and the kudere and the dudere, like, all the dares. Like, they are first impressions, not characters. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I feel really good to be able to see this have a happy conclusion. I'm not so stressed anymore. So thank goodness for that. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are ready. Like I said, I'm pretty sure next week's going to be the last week. So get ready for that. We'll have the rap party after that. And then my patrons, because Fridays are your day, start getting ready. I'm going to have some interesting options to put out for voting. Don't get super caught up in the idea of seeing more Ubisoft stuff on Fridays. Like, now that I know the company a bit better, I'm more likely to try and slot future games from Ubisoft on probably the Wednesday slot. So when we have the next vote for what happens after Rewrite, I'll probably put at least one Ubisoft title there, because I'm a big fan of what they've done with this game, and I'd love to see more. Which is interesting, because this one seems to not have as much traction as their other titles. Like, a lot of their other titles, like, are a lot more bigger named, but that's part of why I didn't recognize this one, is because, like, most people don't seem to talk about this one. I had no idea, because I keep spoilers away, that it was from such a large company. But now that I know, like, I'm a big fan, and if this is one of their lesser known titles, I can only imagine how great their others are. So keep that in mind and keep an eye out for that. But I've talked long enough. This has been a much longer episode, but I'm really happy to have it end here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the patrons for supporting. I hope you're looking forward to picking the next game we get to play. I'll have some options, but I've had some communications from some smaller developers who've got some games coming out. And so I think we've got a pretty interesting selection to present to you. So keep it out for that. But until the next video, watch me. I've seen you next. I'll see you there.